My name is Dais Nagao. This is my 1982 Harley Davidson FXR. I got into motorcycle ever since I can remember. I grew up in Tokyo. My first bike was a 1980 RM80 when I was 13. And it must be in DNA level, because there's no reason that, I've always fascinated by cars and motorcycles, and especially motorcycles. That's what I do for work, and that's what I do after the work. That's what I think and dream and fantasize. So I'm a designer at Harley Davidson. I design bikes. What I do at work is I sketch the motorcycle. I sketch the future Harley Davidson to share the vision, to share the dream with the team. But here I didn't sketch at all. I had a loose idea of what I wanted to be, the journey of unknown and a journey of being able to redo it, go back and change my mind and just do it. And if it works, it's good. If it doesn't, it's just my time and a little bit of material. So the journey was the unknown portion was very exciting. The main hoop of the frame is still 82 FXR, but the rest is Harley Davidson, a little bit of Italian, German, Japanese mashup of lots of different components. The swing arm is a modified Honda unit, and I made it with a Ducati hub. It was a lot of trial and error to get that center and straight, and the offset sprocket and everything. Was a lot of, I had to play with numbers. Yeah, the front end is a XR1200X. It's a big piston, inverted forks with the BMW Airhead Snowflake mag wheels. I've always liked that look. And the triples built by a good friend of mine, Ryan. It's a billet triple built to my spec. For the quarter fairing on the front, it's off of the hinged fender again. The headlight is peeking through the hole, but the hole was just like how it was cut or burned like a cut in the factory back then. And I like that, roughness and coarseness to it. It's usually hidden behind the taillight, so no one's gonna see the hole, but then when I saw it, it's like, that's kind of cool, for factories to do that. So I kind of kept it, and I kind of kept all the holes. I didn't fill any of it. And then I did the very minimum metal work to make it like flat in the back, and I punched out portholes to eventually I'd like to have a oil cooler behind it. Yeah, the engine's S&S V111. It's a punchy motor. It's so loud. Well, a friend of mine recommended it's a square bore and stroke, so it's a smoother side of big bore V-twin. It's gonna suit my riding style for this bike. So, the exhaust routing, I just wanted to show the V-twin with the uninterrupted pushrod covers. So that's the crown jewel. Just wanted to emphasize that the motor, and then I just didn't want to have the back pipe to cover the portion of the motor. So went the other way around and make a little spaghetti at the front, and just dump it below and then kick it to the side. The tank is, it came off of a FLT, mid-80s FLT. It's so wide. I've always loved that section of the tank. It's so aggressive and a very defined surface of a teardrop. So I wanted to bring that, but then make it super narrow and sexy. I cut the 3-inch in the middle, sectioned it. And the tank is really interesting. It's not like left and right, it's not symmetrical. So I was, scratching my head. No matter how I cut it, it just didn't line up. But I figured out it's not symmetrical. Yeah, the transmission is off of a '97 Harley Touring. To make it work, it's a lot of offset. The motor to tranny goes straight, it bolts right up. But then the motor and transmission as a unit, I had to offset it one way. To make the rear end straight, and a lot of measuring, numbers. Yeah, with the seat and fender section, I wanted to have the riding position that's kind of neutral and then upright, but then as a silhouette of the bike, I wanted to have the high head and then low tail. That's why I chose to go with that tail section to have that dramatic downward motion. And then I wanted to have that kick up in the seat, you know, for cafe racer or race bikes, for you to keep it in the position. As you can see, I didn't hide any of the mistakes. All the gouges and scars are still on the bike. When I see the pieces that I created or made mistakes, it kind of brings me right back to that moment. Then when I see each component, it kind of, you know, connects me to that time frame. Yeah, to be a part of Mama Tried is, I'm honored, you know, it's so exciting, and it's like, wow. Yeah, I've always been on the other side, you know, being a spectator, looking at, you know, appreciating all the bikes, but to be inside it, it makes me feel special, and again, I'm very honored. I'm not in a position to give advice, but then one thing I can recommend is start cutting up, start, you know, chopping up. You make mistakes, it's okay, it's your own bike. No one's gonna come after you for start tacking, you know, weld it. I think that's the best way to practice the welding. And I rely on, you know, professional people, you know, Chris Graves. If I tack weld, if it needs to be a serious, you know, welding job, I bring it to Chris, you know, to professional people. So don't be afraid of cutting up and chopping up your bike, and have fun with it. I think that would be my advice.